Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. We have a great show for you tonight. Mr. John Cornett is standing by in the wings here. Howdy, John.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Very well. Hey, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
He's going to be providing some musical accompaniment here momentarily. We also have our guest joint host on, Mr. Casper Leach. How are you doing, Casper?
Fine, thank you, and happy Friday.
Good, good. So we will be taking your questions and calls, and we have some film clips, and we'll be back in just a second after we bring on our infamous Dancing Cannabis Leaves. All right, here is Mr. John Cornett.
So we say we sympathize, though we may apologize for the poor, the lost, the lonesome, and the fool. Making selfish greens and deeds, what the world really needs. Teach compassion to the people as a rule. And heaven help you and me. God help the refugee. Help our blinded eyes to see the grand opportunity we have to live in peace and harmony. Burdened with self-righteousness, make my life such a mess, never knowing if they really understood. Wrapped up in some philosophy, amazing how my eyes can see when the action that I'm taking isn't good. Heaven help you and me. God help the refugee. Help our blinded eyes to see the grand opportunity we have to live in love and harmony. Tomorrow I'll read the news, people and the lives they choose. All the dirty stories seem to linger on. Then I see a single man living love the best he can, knowing oh so well that soon we will be home. Heaven help you and me. God help the refugee. Help our blinded eyes to see the grand opportunity we have to live in love Thank you very much, sir.
Great. Is that your own
Yes, sir. It's mine. It's mine.
That's really good.
I wrote that about 33 years ago.
Whoa. All right. All right.
Amazing vocal.
Yeah, that is. It's a really positive message. I appreciate that.
No, and I mean your voice very strong. Put me in mind of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Thank you very much.
So we are taking your phone calls tonight. It's the 28th of October. It's Halloween weekend. What time of year I always like to call Halloween, because we've got our outdoor harvest coming in. I've been working in the fields of opportunity and harvesting the fruits of Mother Nature, and it's been a pretty good season. Not best in terms of weather and everything. Got a couple little samples. We'll show some of those in a little bit. But we are taking your phone calls and questions. If you have a question for us tonight, call us at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. We'll be taking your calls right up to the top of the hour, about another 54 minutes, 53 minutes. Welcome to the show, Casper. It's good to have you back on.
It is nice to be here, and it's a
Now,
lot of fun.
I've been working with you on your radio show over about the past year, the Time for Hemp. It's a radio show, but it started out as a television show, right?
It did.
Back in was it 91 or 1991?
We filmed the last end of December of 90, Chris Conrad, and we released it in 1991, January 5th. Made its debut, and it's now a 5-day-a-week radio show on
AmericanFreedomRadio.com on AM/FM stations all across America.
So I looked, it's on about 28 different stations in the United States, New Zealand, England, Ireland, I think, and Canada.
And the cool thing is the show brings to it guests from all around the world, as well as you know.
Yeah.
We interview people from Uganda. Today we had somebody on from Amsterdam area.
We had people from Argentina and other South American countries when I've been on your show.
And every Tuesday we have Canada. We salute the people up in Canada and show our appreciation. For some reason they love the show up there. And I've been told that Time for Hemp is the only media outlet that has had this many patients, medical marijuana patients, on it and given a voice to people who need to be heard. So it's an honor to be utilized as a tool by so many people to get their message out.
So you're on the radio every day. I noticed in Oregon you're on in Corvallis on 1610 AM.
Oh, cool.
I remember that.
Nice.
And
thank you.
You are on the internet, though, at Time for, that's the digit 4, Hemp. TimeForHemp.com.
That's my own website, and if you go there, I put out every other week a Time for Hemp music podcast where we feature all the hardworking music in the marijuana, all the musicians in the marijuana movement. Because if they release a song, it's not going to get played because it's all about marijuana, and I think that's inappropriate because many of these musicians are fabulous when it comes to their vocals, as you know from what we heard today on the program, and they deserve an outlet for their music to be heard. And then every other week I put out a Time for Hemp Today podcast, putting a focus on the hardworking activists from all around the world. And that's free to download. We have over 600 hours of free downloads at timeforhemp.com. And then, yes, Monday through Friday we do the live broadcast that you can tune into. And it's live, whether I'm there or not. You've been
I sat in for you for a few weeks while you were recovering from surgery, and I'm on with you as a joint host. Love that phrase. I know you like to play with that.
Well, I found out that, you remember the Bob Newhart show? Every time you said the word Bob, people would take a shot for the Bob Newhart. Well, apparently on Time for Hemp, every time we say the word joint, people in the audience take a hit of whatever they happen to have in front of them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's why I have joint hosts and joint guests and joint conversations and a lot of joint fun.
Joint time of day.
Yeah.
So it's on at 10 a.m. here Pacific time for those folks out there who are watching
really
Eastern
nice.
time. Yeah, too bad you guys don't have smell-o-vision.
Oh, my
We've
God.
got a couple aromatic types here, New York City Diesel and our Trainwreck strain. But we are taking your phone calls. If you've got a question for us tonight, call us at 503-288-4448, where we'll take questions about ending adult marijuana prohibition, restoring industrial hemp, and helping medical marijuana patients.
And I know why they call that train wreck.
Why do they call it train wreck?
Because if you smoke it, you feel like you've been in one.
Ah, okay. And so it's a whole variety of different strains. It's not an entirely stable variety. If it stresses, it will start to change, and so that's another story.
And is the strand owned by Monsanto?
No.
Wow, that's weird.
Monsanto doesn't have anything to do with hemp currently that I know of. But and hopefully they'll keep their greedy little fingers out of it.
Now, I also understand that we got a lot of DEA raids going on in Oregon and in California.
Down in southern Oregon,
What's
they
up with that?
They seized people's crop, but to date they have not prosecuted anyone. And so they came and they've taken several people's collective medical marijuana gardens in southern Oregon. And then a couple months ago, they sent out letters to all the dispensaries that were beginning to operate in the state and told them that they were illegal and they'd take some action against them. But to date, there hasn't been any further activity. But I'll tell you what, we do have a caller standing by. Welcome to the show, caller. Hello, caller.
Am I connected?
Yes, you are connected.
All right. I tuned in late, and I hate to hear what you just said, and also I called to ask who the guest is and how.
This is Casper Leach of the Time for Hemp radio show.
All right. What is the station?
It's on AmericanFreedomRadio.com, and that's the best way
It's
to find it.
on about 28 stations around the country.
How about Portland?
Only one down in Corvallis, 1610 AM.
Well,
But-
thanks, Paul.
Well, and if there's a radio station in your area that you think would appreciate this type of content, contact them. They can pick up our stream and then play it into the community.
Oh, fine. I'll ask to do that. Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, I really enjoy your show,
Well, thank you. Thank you.
and hope to see you soon.
All right. Well, thanks for calling.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Yep. Happy Halloween.
Bye.
Great outdoor harvest. Our rain started here today, so I was out in the middle of the night last night. Now, it turns out that resin production in cannabis plants vary by the time of day. So the resin glands shrink during the day and they grow during the night. So the best time to harvest for resin production is in the middle of the night. So last night at about 1 a.m. to 2:30, I was out there chopping down the babies, and so we'll have maximum resin production. But there's a little tip for you out there if you didn't know. You want to harvest those things in the middle of the night cycle because you'll get better resin production. We have another caller. Welcome to the show, caller. Hello.
Hey,
Howdy.
hey, Casper. Dave, Paul, Casper, this is David.
Hi,
Hey,
Dave.
David.
I sent you a text earlier, Paul. Were you planning on having anybody down at the march that's happening? I think the retreat in
You know, I got that text. I'm sorry I didn't respond. It's been a pretty crazy day. You know, I'm not going to be able to make it. I've got some other things to take care of with the harvest and everything. But if you want to get some banners, I'd be happy to get them to you. So where's that going to march be from and to? It's from the Occupy Portland?
I'm not exactly where it's going from. It's going to the Jameson Park.
Ah, okay. All right.
But in any case, I'll go ahead and do that for you.
All right. Well, I
And
appreciate it.
anybody else out there that wants to come down, come join us.
Okay. So, but you're not sure where it starts right now?
Guys, I'll figure it out tomorrow morning.
All right. Thank you.
Start at the camp.
Ah, okay. Okay.
All right,
probably.
have a great day. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for calling, David. Good to hear from you. Okay. If you have a question for us, call us at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448.
I have a question.
Go right ahead.
Can you explain to me, after you've lived in Oregon this long, how it is that the governor who wants to give us jobs in this state and make it possible for his citizens in this state to be able to have a nice, strong tax base and good schools to attend, seems to go ahead and continue to arrest people for holding a plant instead of taking the money that's spent for putting people behind bars and using it to create jobs and giving us a plant that would create 50,000 different products that would give us the opportunity to employ people making those products?
I think it is out of ignorance. I've got to say that, you know, I did not support the current Oregon governor. I supported his main opponent in the Democratic primary, and I was told that when the governor came into office he directly told the Attorney General to look at me and consider charging me with a tax crime. So I kind of think that perhaps they don't like us talking about him here on this TV show. I mean, if me supporting Bill Bradbury, who supported medical marijuana, as opposed to Oregon's Governor John Kitzhaber, who signed the bill to recriminalize marijuana back in 1997, and who has stacked the Oregon Medical Board. John Kitzhaber is a physician, and he stacked the Oregon Medical Board with people against the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program. He's and I know personally people who smoked marijuana with him back before he was governor. And so it's just hypocritical, if you ask me. It's hypocritical, and it has to do with money and power.
Well, and that's the other thing, too. That's one of the reasons why I'm glad to be on this show, because I have put out information that I'd like to have the Attorney General of Oregon as a guest on the show, as well as the Attorney General of Washington or California or the United States. And, you know, they don't return my calls. Now,
imagine that.
As a citizen of the state of Oregon, I would think that the Attorney General would return my call and at least say no, but they won't even call me up and say no.
Yeah, they...
I leave my number and name.
Well, that's why we have these Occupy protests going on, is to get these guys' attention in so many different venues. We have a caller. Welcome to the show, caller. Hello, caller.
Okay, am I on?
You are on.
Okay, Paul, there's some sort of new federal regulations that are supposed to be going into effect in January concerning commercial driver's licenses and having a cannabis card. Do you know anything about that?
No, I don't. I do know that if you have a commercial driver's license or CDL, that they make you urine test periodically to keep your CDL. And so I don't believe that here in Oregon anyway, that the Oregon Health Department will tell the drivers, Department of Motor Vehicles that issues commercial driver's licenses and personal driver's licenses about your medical marijuana permit. They don't have access to that information. So there's no way that they could censor you with the Oregon Department of Motor Vehicles based on your medical marijuana permit. But, you know, I'm sure you know as a CDL holder that you have to go in for these urinalysis tests. But whether you test positive, if you test positive, then there are repercussions to keep your CDL. But
yeah, I knew about all that, but I'm hearing that the feds are involved in this.
No, that's not true. That's one of those crazy rumors out there. There's a lot of things going on, but right now,
something or other 64 GSC 49 Federal Transit Regulation.
I see.
They're just passed.
Well, it wouldn't have any effect because the Department of Health would not release that information to anyone except Oregon law enforcement, so it couldn't affect your driver's license here in this state.
Oh boy, that's a real relief, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I'm sure that that's the case. That you know, they protect the privacy of patients there, and that's their modus operandi. Even though they've raised their fees for us quite heavily here recently.
Yeah, like doubling it.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for your call. Hey, you know what? We have an online show. We're on Ustream.tv. That's the letter U, STREAM.tv. And we're live every Friday night here. And then you can watch it throughout the week. And there's an archive there in addition to YouTube. But there's a question for you, Casper, that's come online. It says, you used to work with Jack Herer in his office. Could you tell us about those days?
Oh, my. They were inspiring. Well, it's what got me doing what I'm doing. Somebody asked me earlier in the week, what is it that is important to me individually about ending the prohibition on marijuana? And when I worked with Jack Herer, you learned the personal reasons for that. And it is important that once you learn the truth, you continue to speak it. And Jack also made it clear that you had to be that way. Once you learn that this prohibition can change the world, you can't shut up about it.
Jack made you take his pledge,
Oh,
right?
my.
You
Yes,
know,
he
I
did.
worked with Jack hand in hand, but I guess he knew that wild horses couldn't drag me away because he never made me take that pledge. Do you want to tell us about the pledge?
Yeah, well, Jack really wanted me to work for his office, and
In Los Angeles.
in Los Angeles. He had asked me 2 or 3 times as to being, if I'd be a part of his team. And
this is back in the early 90s.
yeah, well, late 80s. I mean, it was
Okay.
1989, as a matter of fact. No, 1990, as a matter of fact. And because the show came out in 91. I started in May of 1990 for Jack. And he asked me 2 or 3 times as he was doing business with where I was working if I'd be part of his team. And I had a nice job, and I wanted to be a comedy writer. And I really didn't know anything about marijuana other than it was fun to get high, and I thought it was annoying that people were being arrested for it. It was kind of stupid for that. And then Jack started talking about paper and fiber and fuel and medications, and lights were going on, but really wasn't interested. Well, Jack and Captain Ed finally talked me into coming to work for Jack, and it was quite an
And
honor
Jack
to do
and
so.
Captain Ed had an organization. They helped work on the California marijuana initiatives. They called their organization Reefer Raiders.
Right. And by the time I came on board, it was called Help End Marijuana Prohibition.
Right.
Hemp. And the very moment I finally agreed to work for Jack Hare, he made me right there raise my right hand, and I went, "What do you mean raise my right hand?" He said, "Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Casper Leach, solemnly swear to fight prohibition, to end marijuana until the day I'm 65 or the day I die or it's legal, whichever comes first. I do." And at the first I went, "Isn't that cute? Really, that's just kind of cute. What a nice way to seal a job agreement." But then about 6 months later into it, those were more than just words. And 20 years later, it has been my passion, my life, and my thing that I do from the time I open my eyes till I absolutely collapse and fall asleep at my desk at night. I can't stop. Even on Christmas Day, I'm busy sending out messages about how we need to end this prohibition. We need to change the laws. Will you be a guest on my show, editing a new broadcast? Because honestly, until we end this prohibition, I can't rest. We need paper, fiber, fuel being made out of this. We need jobs created out of this. We need a tax base created out of this. And we need a transference of wealth in this country from those who have to those who have not. And until that happens, or until I die, or I'm 65, I'm doing this job.
All right. We have a caller who's called us. If you have a question or comment for us tonight, you can call us at 503-288-4448. And I'd like to welcome our caller to the show. Welcome, caller.
Hey, Paul. This is Rick in Arkansas.
Hey, Rick. Welcome.
I called a few shows back. I just wanted to say, Casper, you're freaking awesome. We listen to you every day. I'm a carpenter. And at noon, we put our tools up. We sit down on the slab, and we usually roll this one. And we listen to you, and you're really cool, and we appreciate that.
Do you take a hit every time he says joint?
Do what?
Do you take a hit every time he says joint?
As many times as often. Sometimes
Yeah, there's a new tradition for you. Every time he says joint, you know, that's the moment he expects you to inhale.
Yeah, sometimes we shotgun them 2 at a time.
Ah.
It's pretty cool. Anyway, the jokes you guys tell, everything you do is great.
Now, you're on Central Time, right, there in Arkansas?
Yeah.
So on Central Time, it'd be noon to 1, right? It's perfect for lunchtime.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. We all tell jokes and just chill out listening and all the different. And Wednesdays is cool because they usually have Peter Christ on there. And he's a cop that's really cool. He's not a jerk or, something like that. He tells the truth. So I've turned on a lot of people to this show, and Arkansas is actually trying to get the initiative
for medical
on the ballot.
marijuana.
So, we're just all chilling and trying to do what's right here. We appreciate you guys out there. And one of these days I want to come visit. And Casper, you're cool. We love you. So take care.
Thank you so much for your gracious words. It's nice to know that I am being heard and that my guest and I are making an impact. Thank you so much.
He's
Hey,
beaming.
yeah, this is Redneck Rick, and I'm in Arkansas.
Well, thank you, Greg. Thanks for calling. And good luck with that medical marijuana initiative there in Arkansas.
Wasn't that nice?
That was great.
Very nice.
If you have a question or comment for us tonight, you can call us at 503-288-4448. 4448. That's 503-288-4448. And we have another question from online, and it is, what is the name of the company handling the OCTA petition? The OCTA petition, for our viewers out there who've been watching, know that's the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act. And in fact, that is the name of the political committee in the state of Oregon that is collecting signatures. That's the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act of 2012. And you can find out more about it at that website that just popped up on your screen there, cannabistaxact.org. So the name of the political committee is OCTA 2012. But there's another committee, C&E Systems. They are handling the finances and the payroll and the state and federal reporting requirements, and that is C&E Systems, and they are actually handle the financial campaigns of all the Democratic candidates in state, including former Governor Ted Kulongoski, current Governor John Kitzhaber, and my buddy, the Oregon Attorney General John Kroger, and many other candidates, even some Republican candidates out there. So that's C&E Systems. If you're interested in finding out more about the petition, you know, right now we're about 40,000 signatures. We need 87,000 signatures by next July to legalize marijuana, or to put it up for a vote here in Oregon. What our initiative would do is it would allow adults to grow their own without any registration, license, or fee, and it would regulate the sales of marijuana to adults through state licensed stores, and those would be cannabis only stores. They couldn't sell alcohol products or mix those two markets, but it would allow bars and coffee shops and things like that that got the right licenses to be like brew pubs or wineries and produce their own cannabis and sell it to adults over the age of 21. And so we need your support. We're at about 40,000 signatures. We need 87,232 valid registered Oregon voter signatures by next July to qualify for a vote next year. If we can put this on the ballot and win the election, then marijuana will be legal here in Oregon in about 14 months, on January 1st, 2013. So we urge your support. If you go to that website, you can actually print out a petition and sign it and mail it back to us, a single signature petition. You can fill out our volunteer form and we'll mail you petitions so that you can gather signatures from your friends and then mail those back to us. And you can go on there and make a donation. I want to urge you, if you can help, actually in Oregon, for Oregon taxpayers, there is a $50 tax credit. With that, if you make a contribution to an Oregon political committee like OCTA 2012, then the state of Oregon will give you a 100% refund of up to $50 a person, or $100 for married couples filing jointly. So I urge you to loan our campaign $50, and then when you file your taxes here in Oregon next year, the state of Oregon will repay that loan for us. So we need your support. I personally, through our Oregon clinic operation, everything, have put over $70,000 into the petition drive so far. There have been about another $5,000 in donations from other folks, but we could sure use your help. And so if you can help, please go to that website, cannabistaxact.org. We've got a caller on the line and a studio audience member who has a question. Let's take the studio audience member's question first. Go right ahead, John.
Yes, sir. First of all, just to clarify what you just said, it brought up another question. The question is, actually, let me go back to my first question first. Is there any way we can change the name of the bill or of the
Not right now. It's already been submitted, and we've got about 40,000 signatures. So the only way to change the name would be to scrap it.
I've just heard so. I understand it, but for the future, and I pray that this one won't fail. But OCRA, Oregon Cannabis Restoration Act.
Yeah. That's a good.
The other thing is, you brought up a question. Is the $50? Is that deductible from your gross income or directly against the taxes?
It's not a. It's a credit. It's not a deduction. A credit means you get all that money back.
Tax credit.
So if you have a, say you owe $100 in state taxes, then you will only owe $50 in state taxes if you get that $50 credit. If you're going to get, say, a $100 return or refund check, then you'd get a $150 credit. So you get a $150 refund. So it's actually a tax credit under the Oregon state tax laws of up to $50 per taxpayer, $100 for married couples filing jointly. So we have a website there, the CannabisTaxAct.org website. You can go there and donate $50 through our Campaign Finance Committee, C&E Systems. Just click on that little donate button. Or you can click on the petition, print it out on your home computer, sign it, mail it in to us. So we certainly need your help, and we urge you to support us. Now we're going to take that phone call that's been standing by on the telephone. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hello. Yes.
Howdy.
Yeah, I was just calling in to kind of let people know what's going on in the northern Colorado area.
Welcome.
Yes.
So you're in northern Colorado, up around Fort Collins?
Yes, at Fort Collins. We're basically having a major fight right now to the ballot issue that they're trying to ban all dispensaries in Fort Collins, and Fort Collins serves a large community of patients, and if these people succeed in banning, it's going to be really a mess. All these dispensaries have went through a major shift with trying to do all the regulations that the city of Fort Collins has put them through, plus the state, and spent a lot of money and livelihoods, and just a small group of people got this on the ballot, and they're putting out a lot of fear campaign stuff of false statistics and so on. And
sure.
It's pretty insane right now. But I really just wanted to let people know that, and it's going to be like a final vote on November 1st, and hopefully we'll prevail and keep cannabis free and legal for all the patients that are needing their medicines daily.
Well, I know cannabis passed overwhelmingly there in Colorado, and Colorado has been the most forthright state to actually legalize and regulate commercial cannabis dispensaries in the state of Colorado. And they even regulate the production of edibles or medicated cannabis foods and candies. And Colorado is a beacon of hope for the rest of the medical marijuana industry, and they've implemented sensible regulation of the medical marijuana market. But as you mentioned, it's very expensive for these folks to comply with those regulations, and it costs a lot of money in new license fees. Of course, the state of Colorado has benefited enormously. I'm sure Fort Collins, with their dispensaries now, have benefited, and I just hope that you can get that defeated and continue to offer medical cannabis patients cannabis through your dispensary system.
Yes, yeah, we're doing like the last push to get out to neighborhoods and do a lot of canvassing this coming Sunday, and they the problem is a lot of people rely upon this area because other places like Loveland, Windsor, Greeley have banned it. And so there's probably over like 8,000 patients in this Larimer County area, and if it goes down, then it's going to go back to the caretaker market, and that they can't really take care of that many people growing things out of households. So
you drive an hour each way to get to Denver, I guess.
Yes, yeah, that too, or Boulder. So it's just pretty crazy. So anyway, I just wanted to push that out there.
I'm glad you did. I really wasn't aware of that. We have offices in Colorado. I remember when we opened in Colorado in March of 2006, there were only 700 patients that had medical cannabis cards in the state of Colorado, and I know they were up to 170,000 medical marijuana card holders last year. I'm not sure what the number is currently. Do you know?
No, not exactly, but it's definitely a substantial number. But anyway, I just want to let people know what was going on in Colorado, and I thank you, Paul, for all your work that you do through the foundation, and have a good night.
Thanks for calling. Thanks for bringing us up to speed on that situation.
Bye-bye.
I have a question.
Go right ahead.
I don't understand it. What I don't understand is we've got this plant that creates 50,000 different products. It's not like when you smell it, you suddenly die, right? So I don't understand why it is that the United States government is spending so much money to destroy this plant instead of taking that money and putting it into job creation and taking care of the debt that they've established that's going to take our next 2 generations to pay off.
Well, you know what I always say, Casper, and I've been saying this for a while, and I thank you for giving me an opportunity to do this. It's about money and power and the continued centralization of economic and political control. The petrochemical companies don't want to compete with hemp seed oil and hemp biodiesel products or hemp plastics and hemp oil products. The wood-based paper company that owns all these huge forest holdings don't want to see hemp become the primary fiber for paper nor building materials. There are cotton producers that don't want to see hemps replace their pesticide-intensive cotton crops with hemp for canvas, rope, lace, and linen. And so it's all about money, power, and the continued centralization of economic and political control. Also, the law enforcement, prison industrial complex doesn't want to see cannabis legal because they're not going to be able to put us in jail anymore and use us as slave labor. So it's all of those forces have come together in an axis of evil, as George Bush Jr. labeled several countries out there. It's the axis of evil that lie about the most productive plant on our planet. They've taken the plant that produces more fuel, more food, more fiber, and more medicine than any other plant on this planet and made that one illegal. And it's all about continuing to give more money to that 1%. And we, the regular 99%, are here fighting for legal hemp. And that's one of the things that some of the folks in the Occupy movements of Occupy Wall Street and Occupy Portland and Occupy all the different cities across the United States have been talking about, that it is, as your show says, time for hemp.
Now, another thing that I don't quite understand is that how it is that we haven't stood up and made that go away, because
I've been working at it, Casper. I know you have too.
Well, I mean,
but we need you out there to get involved, and that includes coming and helping us on that Cannabis Tax Act. You know, I personally have put up $70,000 so far just this year alone on our petition campaign, and we need more people to step forward and aid in that campaign. If you don't have money, donate your time. Every hour you donate gathering signatures and working for the petition, it's like another $10 contributed to the campaign. So go on there, print out a petition, sign it, make a contribution. Like I said, the state of Oregon will pay you back if you're an Oregon taxpayer. So it's a wonderful thing if you ask me.
One thing I don't understand either is how it is that our buying community, when they go into the tanning salons and they see hemp tanning oil and they see hemp balm. And
there are a lot of body products out there, and more and more food products.
How it is that America, the leader of the world, is now having to buy all these fabulous hemp products from overseas. Even BMW's making auto bodies out of hemp seed oil. Pampers is making Pampers out of hemp, you know, because it biodegrades quickly. Now, why is it that America can't get our job market going, Paul?
It's because we haven't taken time for hemp. But you know what? We have a couple things going on here. We have first we'll take this phone call. Welcome to the show, caller. Howdy. Hello, caller. Okay, there's some dead air. We have a film clip we're going to roll, and we'll be back in just a second and take some more questions. If you have a question for us, you can call us at 503-288-4448. And enjoy this film clip. We'll be back in just a moment. And we want to thank Wonder Knack, the artist who created that. She came and has photographed some of our events this year, and a big thank you out to her. You can find out more at that website, and some great art that really opened your eyes. And I love the way she morphed the seed into the planet. That was just great, I think. Anyway, we have a caller who's been standing by. Welcome to the show, caller. Hello, caller.
Hello, is that me?
That's you.
Okay, I have a question. Why should Occupy Anything be about marijuana?
Because the prohibition of hemp is about the petrochemical industry and the continued centralization of economic and political control. So the Occupy movement is diverse and covers many different topics, and different protesters are on different, there for different reasons. But income inequality is tied to cannabis prohibition. The whole reason marijuana is illegal is to protect the petrochemical paradigm. And when we legalize marijuana, in short order, we'll see a drastic reduction in petrochemical use and an increase in hemp biodiesel and hemp plastic. And instead of sending our money to the Arab and other oil despots around the world that take that money and put it in their Swiss bank accounts like the Gaddafi family used to do, and like they do in Nigeria and Saudi Arabia and all the other oil-rich countries, excuse me. When marijuana is legalized, that money will go to our farmers for their biodiesel fuel, and the byproduct will be food to wipe out world hunger. So for the folks who don't know in the Occupy movement why it should be about hemp, there's the reason.
Can I make a comment to that too?
Sure.
Hemp is involved with every aspect of your life as well, whether you're taking a bath with a bar of soap, or you're turning on your television set that's made of plastic, or you're hopping in your car that's got oil in it, or you're putting on your clothes. So that means all those industries that you're taking your dollar and giving it to would then be going into an industry there on a local base, kind of like a local market or a little market, a little village that you have, like paying your own people in your own community, having your own farmers grow your own crops. How cool. Make it a community thing. And instead of giving the dollars to people overseas, you could create your own energy base to heat your own homes in your own hometowns. And that would also save sending all that money to the corporations that are now on Wall Street, taking all of our dollars and dimes and putting it back into our own pockets. That's why we call it a change of wealth, a transference of wealth from their pockets to yours. So if all the people who are sitting there, all the 99% want to take the money out of the pockets of the 1%, if you re-legalize marijuana and start creating all those products out of this wonderful plant, then all those people on Wall Street will disappear, and they will be the poor people, and all the people who are broke now will at least be upper middle class. Thank you.
Right. If you have a question or comment for us tonight, you can call us at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. We'll be taking your calls for about another 10 minutes or so here. But we want to urge you once again to get involved in our petition movement. We have about 40,000 signatures to legalize hemp and cannabis, and we need 87,000 valid registered Oregon voter signatures by next July to force a vote next November of 2012. And if we can win that election in 2012, then hemp and cannabis will be legal. We'll be able to start producing hemp biodiesel and hemp paper and hemp building materials, hemp food products, and legal marijuana for sales to adults. and all the economic benefits that will bring. So we urge you to go to that website, cannabistaxact.org. You can print out a single signature petition and sign it and mail it to us. You can fill out the volunteer form, and we'll mail you petition sheets to gather your family and friends' signatures or even more. Or you can go on there and make a donation. So go to cannabistaxact.org. So Casper, who's going to be some of your guests next week on Time for Hemp?
Well, then we got Steve Hager coming on soon.
Steve Hager's the editor of High Times for a number of years, and he's still affiliated somewhat with High Times Magazine.
He is, and every Monday, we got Chris Conrad and Mickey Norris coming on with Steve Bloom Monday, talking about how the Attorney General really thinks they can censor the marijuana press, and that's just not going to happen. And then, of course, every Tuesday we focus on our Canadian friends up where they're working very hard. And then Wednesday, we got Peter Criss coming on. He's going to be at the LEAP conference in Los Angeles.
And that's Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. And he comes on every Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's your LEAP day on Time for Hemp.
Absolutely. And then on Thursday, we have you coming on as a joint host. And I can't remember who. We might have Dana Bill either this week or next. And then on Fridays, we do Payday Fridays, where we focus on all the economic aspects of this plant, ending the prohibition, saving the money from the saving the money from the court systems that we use to prosecute people, and the prisons that we use to house them, and the jobs that we can create, and the products that would be stimulated from this plant. And so we try to make people aware that ending the prohibition really will hit them in the pocketbook. So that's our Monday through Friday on a regular basis at AmericanFreedomRadio.com.
All right, and we have a caller on the telephone that we'll take now. Welcome to our show, caller. Hello, caller.
Me?
You. Yes.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Howdy.
Oh, hey. I just had a question, I got busted for I was on the Wilson River and smoked a little bit of weed.
Uh-huh. So you were boating on the river, or you were fishing on the river?
No, I went down there. My aunt has a beach house, and I went down there, and on the way back, I smoked a little weed, and then a guy busted me. It's like one of those ranger guys.
Uh-huh. Turn down your TV and just listen through the telephone. It'll be better for our audience.
Okay. Yeah, it's down.
Good.
But yeah, I have to go through all these diversion type classes and stuff like that.
I'm sorry to hear you have to go through that. So, yeah.
And your
was this a state charge?
It was in Tillamook.
I see. Okay.
I don't know. It's like it's bullshit.
I agree. Well, when we legalize marijuana, then you won't be arrested just for having cannabis and smoking it beside the river or anywhere out in nature. You won't be able to use it publicly, but they won't be arresting you. So we urge you to support our initiative drive to just completely legalize it.
Oh, no doubt. But I mean, alcohol is like way far more dangerous than weed.
Cannabis is a lot safer than alcohol, that's for sure. I agree with you. I'm sorry to hear that happen to you, but I urge you to get involved in our petition drive. Thanks for calling, though. Good luck in getting through all that diversion, and that's a big hassle. It costs a lot of money once they lock. It's like the old Southern story, and I'm from the South, so I know these Southern stories. The tar baby, Brer Rabbit and the tar baby. Once you touch the tar baby, it sticks to you, and you can't get rid of it again. Well, the legal system and law enforcement, they're like that. Once you're in their system, it's hard to shake loose of it. So what we want to do is take marijuana out of its illegal status and restore it to its rightful place in our economy for fuel, food, fiber, and medicine. And so we urge you to get involved in that petition drive, right, Casper?
And we do encourage you to be responsible when you go out too. Don't drive when you're high. Don't drive a plane when you're high. Don't take care of kids when you're stoned. And if you're going to go out in public and smoke, you know, it's good to have just one joint so that you can eat the roach and not carry a bag. Because sometimes it's not the police's fault that you got arrested. Sometimes they smell it and they come over and they ask you for a medical card. You don't have it, and they frisk you. You got a ½ ounce on you, 2 pipes, and they're kind of locked into having to abide by the law that they swore to uphold. And that's one of the frustrations of being a police officer. They don't like these laws either, but they want to be a police officer so they can help arrest bank robbers and killers, and along the way they've got to enforce these laws too. And so you make them do that by carrying with you large amounts of pot and paraphernalia. So be responsible when you go out.
Thanks. We have another caller. Welcome to the show, caller. Hello, caller.
Hi.
Hi.
I want to ask a question.
Okay.
I want to ask a question about if marijuana is legalized next November, will you still, and they have the dispensaries and that, will you still be allowed to have your own small garden at home?
Oh, yeah. In fact,
medical marijuana card.
you won't even need a permit to have your own garden at home. And there won't be any artificial limits on the amount of cannabis you can have or the plants you can grow. Under our petition, you'd be able to grow your own without any license fee or registration. Now, the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program would still be in effect. You could still take part in that, but you won't need a permit to grow your own marijuana when our cannabis initiative passes. And so that's the situation.
Well, that would be really helpful for someone on a low income. Because
Certainly
I
would.
left the area for a couple of years, and then I came back, and I found in the medical community, I was given a choice between pharmaceutical painkillers and medical marijuana. So I chose the medical marijuana, and I'm getting off of the pain pills. And now I find that since I've made my choice, my doctor is not particularly supportive in this, and she says I could go someplace else, but on a low income, it's a lot.
You don't have much choice if you're on any kind of public health program. It's very difficult to find a doctor to start with, no less to change doctors.
Yeah. To where legalization would help.
Yeah, legalization would just make it where anybody can grow it and possess it and not have to pay an annual license fee or get a doctor to sign your recommendation. For low-income patients and for everybody else out there, it's really going to be a big step forward. So I urge you.
I'm on a fixed income, so that would really help.
Yeah, you'd be able to grow your own, and there wouldn't be any artificial limit. You know, I'm able to grow cannabis outdoors, and my outdoor costs are down under $15 an ounce. So the price of cannabis, when it's legalized, will be coming down dramatically. And so we urge your support for our initiative petition. Thanks for calling. We are down to just 3 minutes left here, Casper. You want to give we've got John Cornette standing by in the wings with another fantastic song.
Excellent.
Do you want to plug your website and show one more time?
Time4hemp.com, and go to AmericanFreedomRadio.com and tune in, and be sure to tell your friends to take Time for Hemp.
And I'll be on there with you every Thursday and sometimes other days as well. I want to urge you, if you or a loved one need to find a doctor who can help you get a medical marijuana permit, we have doctors all across the United States. You can call us at 503-235-4606 here in the Portland area. That's 503-235-4606. If you're outside the Portland area, you can call that number on your screen. It's 1-800-723-0188. That's 1-800-723-0188. And if you want to get involved in our petition drive, you can call us at our office number here in Portland. It's 503-235-4606. You can go to our Cannabis Tax Act .org website and print out the petitions, and you can go there and make a donation to our political campaign. I want to thank you all for watching. We're just down to a few more minutes. We'll be back next week. We've got John Cornette, who's going to be singing a great song. You'll get a few photos of our medical cannabis gardens. Thanks for watching. See you next week, and help us restore hemp.
Yeah!
also want to say happy last era of duality. Today is the last day of the Mayan calendar. Welcome the new era of peace and golden age, I hope.
I didn't know that.
Soon as you're born, they make you feel small. By giving you no time instead of it all. Till the pain is so big, you feel nothing at all. A working class hero is something to be. A working class hero is something to be. They hurt you at home and then they hit you at school. They hate you if you're clever and they despise a fool. You're so freaking crazy you can't follow the rules. A working class hero is something